Black woman. Beautiful, powerful, resilient female of African descent with skin kissed by the sun. Conversation. A talk, especially an informal one between two or more people in which news and ideas are exchanged. We love being Black women. Black women are ambitious. Black women are confident. Black women are diligent. We are tenacious. We walk out of our houses put together. We are many shades and personalities of fabulous. But we as Black women don't talk about our dilemmas, current events, and what's going on every day that affects us. So we created this podcast as a way to laugh together, cry together, and have an open conversation about life as Black women.
Oh, that's deep. Black Women Conversations.
Hey, Nicole.
Hey, Janine.
How have your weeks been?
My weeks have been fine, but let me tell you guys what Janine has been doing, and it is neglect. This is the longest little span I have gone without talking to Janine, and it's because I know we're busy. We're busy. She's busy. She's grinding. She's doing all these events and dodging COVID, and I'm dodging COVID in the ICU, so I completely get it. But I feel neglected. I feel neglected. So I'm glad that we're back. Did y'all miss us? Did y'all miss us for the couple weeks?
I think that some people missed us, but some people thought that our break was super short.
It's like 2-week break and now we're back.
Okay, you guys. So let me give you a little bit of behind the scenes. So we have not actually recorded for a month now. What we did was, here's the beauty of podcasting, right? So you can pre-record, and we did do that, and we gave you all a best of episode, but we actually did take a month-long break. We did. We took a month-long break. I'm not sure how restful the break was, at least not for me. I'm sure it wasn't restful for you, but we did take a break. We took a break, and now we're back to podcast some more. We're excited.
Yeah, I guess it was it a month though?
Yeah, the last time we recorded was the 18th of July.
Dang.
Right?
Okay, I guess it has been a month.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like
but
it
we're
though.
back. We're back. It does not feel like it because when we released season 2, we're back last week. People were like, already? And you know what? I don't know about you, Janine. I was like, well, these chicks didn't miss us. Already. Should we have taken a longer break? Golly.
Right. So at first I took it like that. And then I was like, well, that means that we kept in contact while we were gone. So they kind of didn't really feel like we were on a break, which means that our plan worked. We didn't want y'all to miss us too much. We wanted you all to just give us a little break so we could, regroup as we went back to work.
So what have you been up to this week or the past couple of weeks, Janine?
I literally planned an entire digital show in a very short period of time. I mean, literally probably since we recorded. So I recorded this digital show. It was actually pretty dope. I mean, not to toot my own horn, but it was pretty dope because of the people who agreed to be involved in it. So
you can toot your own horn. Listen, we're celebrating wins now. It's COVID season. We're still locked up. We're going to celebrate a win. It was dope. It was dope. So you can say that.
It honestly was dope because of the people who agreed to be involved in my team that helped me, because I don't want to make it sound like I did it all by myself, because I absolutely could not have done that. So the show was for people who want to get into the industry, and a bunch of super dope, successful industry people came together to give some advice. And it premiered yesterday, but you can find it on YouTube. And it was called The Music Meeting. So we had some dope people. So Nick Cannon, that we've kind of been railing on for having so many babies, he agreed. He was on the show. So we had some pretty dope people. Nick Cannon, T-Pain. It was fun, but it was a lot of work. I mean, literally the show was airing and we were still making changes to it. So it was, when I tell you, yesterday afternoon at about 5 o'clock, I was kind of like, I just want to go lay down. It was exhausting, but it was kind of dope. And while I was doing that, which is so unimportant in the grand scheme of things, you were out there saving people's lives.
I'm tired of saving lives. Listen, I thought about should I just quit?
No.
And take some time off, and then I'll do travel medicine in a couple months. I say that because all y'all out there that don't want to get vaccinated, y'all are wearing us out. I mean, if you're in healthcare, you are like mentally, physically drained. It's almost like I almost get angry when I walk into the unit because I know it's going to be a unit full of unvaccinated people who don't understand that every time we walk into the unit, we're risking our own lives because now, if you're in healthcare, you had to get the vaccine in December and January. So now we're over 8 months out. And so our vaccines are not as effective. Okay. They're effective from preventing severe disease, but they're not effective from preventing COVID. Like they're only 59% effective from prevention of COVID, whereas they're 95% from severe disease. So if I get COVID, I mean, I likely won't die and I likely won't have to be admitted to the hospital, but I still get it. And guess what? My kid can't get vaccinated and he's immunocompromised. So then I'm sitting there like, man, I need a third shot so that I can have a booster so that I won't inadvertently be an asymptomatic carrier and bring it back on my kid. I mean, it is exhausting and nerve-wracking. And I talked to several friends of mine who do not want to get vaccinated because they don't trust the system and they don't trust anything. I'm like, you don't trust what doctors say about vaccines, but you trust doctors enough to go to the hospital and get treated for COVID. To me, it's just like a double standard. I don't understand it.
Neither do I. Let me tell you something. I think that I have realized that people are super, super selfish, and I can't imagine how healthcare workers feel. But people are super selfish, and I don't think that they quite realize how severe COVID really is. Like, Nicole, really, I literally thought about texting you when we were talking about what we wanted to do for our episode and say, we need to go back and revisit COVID because what in the world and how did we get here when the numbers were going down and people were feeling comfortable to go back outside? How did we get to this point? That's the part that I'm not understanding. And what happened to the basic logic that we were born with? I don't understand.
Girl, there are no beds here. Like, if somebody gets sick with COVID, like, we don't even know where to put them. When I tell you we are like sending people to other cities, like just sort of moving people around the state of Texas because there are no beds. Houston has the biggest medical center in the nation. And there are no beds. I mean, there may be one or two beds that open up like every now and then when somebody either passes away or somebody gets well enough to go home from the ICU. But other than that, you're like literally waiting for somebody to get discharged for some reason out of the ICU to get a bed. So if you come in with COVID, you will 9 times out of 10 not be admitted to the hospital that you came to. You're going to get airlifted somewhere else if you meet ICU criteria. So people need to wake up. And, the difference is, people are out and about now, right? Nobody's really scared. Before, because it's not like all of a sudden there's a higher amount of people that are unvaccinated. No, I mean, of course, there's more people vaccinated now than there were a year ago because the vaccine had just rolled out. But people are out and about now. And now you have the politicization of masks. Right? Like, so if you're on one political extreme, you don't want to wear a mask because you don't believe that COVID's real. And if you're on the other end of the political realm, then you're wearing a mask. And people that tend to see people without masks, even if they were for masks, tend to lax their social distancing, tend to not wash their hands as much, tend to take their mask off more frequently, which means that they are going to be exposed to COVID as well. So now that like everything's open back up, plus people don't want to wear a mask, that's how we get to the point where all of a sudden the numbers are surging. So you got 2 choices. You either have to wear a mask or get vaccinated. One of the 2 choices. Like, if you're against vaccines, please don't be against masks because you're going to get yourself COVID. And this Delta variant is highly contagious. Highly, highly, highly contagious. And people don't understand that. I'm on a soapbox. So we can get off of it. But
we're going to get off of it. But let us warn you that should things continue like last season, we will revisit this COVID conversation because I'm deeply disturbed at how far into this COVID situation we are. And now we have a Delta variant and a Lambda variant, and people are still not getting vaccinated. Let me explain something to you. My best friend, who is fully vaccinated, let me be very clear about this, had a bout of COVID. Literally, she wears her mask, she social distances, she traveled. She literally traveled to Florida, got COVID in the airport. By the time she got to Florida, she was sick, got back and is still sick. Like, she's over COVID now, but the cough that comes from her sounds like she smoked a pack of cigarettes a day for the last 50 years.
Yeah. But the thing about you and your bestie, she did get COVID, and my sister got COVID too, and she's fully vaccinated. My sister's symptoms were super mild. Like, I think she had like loss of taste and nothing else. The girl was still working out while she had COVID. But again, your bestie was in ICU admitted.
Correct.
So people keep saying that's people's excuse not to get vaccinated. Well, people that are vaccinated are still getting sick, but they're not in the ICU. Like, let's be clear. The people that are in the ICU, the people that are like constantly dying are not vaccinated. Their body has no antibodies to fight this thing off. So no one ever said that the vaccine is going to 100% prevent you from getting COVID, especially if you've been out for more than 6 months. But it will prevent you from getting severe disease that will kill you. Okay, that is what the 95% effectiveness is for, severe disease that will kill you. And because it's not 100%, and even that, you still need to wear a mask.
Amen.
Just saying.
And I feel like we need to talk about this later, like in a different episode. I really do, because we need to talk about the people who are outside at the grocery store licking stuff so that they feel like they can just build up their immunity.
Are people still doing that?
They are. And I feel like we need to talk about the people who say like, oh, let me just wait, because I have another friend who he got vaccinated and his wife was waiting. And now she and all of the kids have COVID. And we need to talk about the kids. If you all don't care about anything else, you all should care. And by you all, I'm not talking to our listeners. I'm talking about the anti-vaxxers. You all should care about your children because they cannot get vaccinated. So until they can get vaccinated, you all need to be cognizant. Whatever happened to taking care of the women and the kids? What happened to that? They can't get vaccinated, so you get vaccinated so we can take care of them. Can we do that? Or is that too much to ask? Because I'm feeling like
that's what we need to talk about, back to school. And we'll have some data in a couple weeks, what the back to school did. You know, Texas said you can't mandate mask going back to school. We could talk about Texas and Florida all day.
Absolutely. I mean, but we could also talk about,
I feel like I got to get out the state.
We could also talk about Georgia, who their first day back to school, 900, or first week, I should say, 900 plus students contracted COVID or tested positive for COVID. So you all, like, it's not gone away. Like, let's not make it seem like because we're in summer number 2 and want to go outside and have a hot girl summer that COVID has gone somewhere. It has not. It's still here.
All right, Janine, what's on your timeline other than COVID this week?
Okay. A couple of weeks ago, Latanya Young did an interview with the Daily Mail in which she revealed that she was homeless and living in her car. Okay, so why is this news? Latanya Young, who is that? Well, Andre Young, her father, is Dr. Dre. So this 38-year-old mother of 4 is the eldest daughter of mogul Dr. Dre. As you could imagine, the internet was outraged that she's the daughter of a millionaire, a man who's worth like approximately $800 million, the founder of Beats. All of this, they're talking about all of Dr. Dre's accolades and wondering why his eldest daughter is living in her car. So a lot of people read the headlines, right? And then, you know, we kind of were like, something's not really adding up. So we started delving into the details. At least I did. I get it. You have a millionaire dad. No one would expect someone with a millionaire father to be broke. But let's get into the details. I'm going to run them down for you real quick. First and foremost, the kids are safe. The children are not homeless. Her 4 kids do not live in the car with her. She said in the interview that the kids are actually with friends. So the kids are, they have a steady shelter for now until she's able to get herself on her feet. So she's the one that's sleeping in her car. Her kids are safe, which I'm happy about because like we just talked about with the kids, you don't want the kids to suffer through the situation too. So naturally, the first question that you would ask was, does she have a job, right? Did she recently lose her job? Is it because of the pandemic? Like, what's going on? So when I asked, I did some little digging, and apparently her current employment is working for DoorDash as a driver, not like DoorDash corporate, but as a delivery driver. Not to knock the people who, do DoorDash. However, you wouldn't really think that the eldest daughter of successful music producer would be delivering DoorDash. But that's not all. She doesn't have just the DoorDash job. She also apparently takes odd jobs putting things together. So one of the things that she said that she did is she was making $15 an hour assembling furniture at a warehouse. So it kind of sounds like she's like a task rabbit, like she does, those odds and end jobs. She gets a little thing here, a little thing there, right? So it doesn't seem too stable to me. But again, if this is where she is at this point, shout out to her for trying to make it happen for herself, right? But it seems that she doesn't really have a career path. It doesn't seem like there's a skill that she has, that she is pursuing, a hobby that she might want to turn into a business. None of that. It just kind of seems like she's been picking up odds and ends jobs, right? So after we figure out why she could possibly living in her car, the lack of employment, the next question seems to be, has Dr. Dre helped her? Has he been helping her? Like, why is she living in her car now? I guess was my question, right? And she did reveal that even though they've been estranged for over 18 years, so think about this for a second. She's 38. They've been estranged for 18 years. So she was an adult, it seems, when they became estranged. She does communicate with Dr. Dre through his team. So she says that she doesn't have his phone number. She says that, they're not, clearly they're not like picking up the phone, chatting with each other, having father-daughter chat. But the lines of communication were open via his team of people, right? And she also admitted that up until just this past winter, like winter 2020, Dr. Dre was paying her rent and giving her a monthly allowance. But it seems like she kind of had it made before. And so my next question was, well, if he was paying your rent up until you were 37, 38 is a little bit of an odd age, right? So it's not like it's like, hey, you hit 40, I'm cutting you off. Why did the money stop? That was my question. Why did Dr. Dre stop helping his daughter? And according to Dre's lawyer, which also, of course, is according to Latanya, because we're not getting any information out of Dre's camp because they keep their mouths sealed. But according to her, Dre's lawyer said that he no longer wanted to help support her because you know what she was doing? Going to the media and running those chops. And here's the thing. When she started doing interviews and she started talking to the press, the money was done. So now she's living in her car. But here, Nicole, is where I have questions. Said car, she claims, is costing her about $2,300 for 3 weeks. So here's my question. First of all, I understand how car payments work. I have never actually leased a car, but I feel like I kind of understand how that works as well. And car for 3 weeks, it sounds like you're renting a car. It does not sound like you own the car or you're in the process of purchasing the car or even like you're leasing the car, because I don't know about you, but my car payment is every month. I don't know. Maybe it's me. The 3 weeks thing kind of threw me off. And what threw me off even more was the $2,300. Girl, what are you sleeping in? A G-Wagon? I'm confused. I get it. It's LA. LA is expensive, but still the $2,300 for a car, I'm just not quite understanding. Maybe a Bentley? That's what you're sleeping in? I don't know. But my thought process was, if you are spending $2,300 every 3 weeks on a car, you should be able to afford some sort of shelter. Maybe it's not going to be the posh shelter that you're used to living in LA as Dr. Dre's daughter. But I feel like $2,300 should be able to get you something where you can bathe, cook a little something, lay your head down in a safe place. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Again, I don't want to place any judgment on this situation, but it just seems like $2,300 a month for a car when you don't have a place to lay your head just seems like something is wrong off with these priorities. But that's just me. So let's go back. it seems to me that there could be some sort of transition there. Like, hey, maybe we don't need this car anymore. Maybe we could just take this money that we're using for this car and put it into an apartment. But that's just me. So after all of this information came out and she did the interview with the Daily Mail and everybody started railing on Dr. Dre for not helping his daughter, earlier this week, this woman went and set up a GoFundMe page, Nicole. Now, according to the GoFundMe page, it says it's for housing and shelter, and her goal is to raise $50,000, of which, as of this morning, she almost raised $3,000 so far. It's been up for a week, so it doesn't seem like people are hopping on to support, So this is what the message says. The message says the fundraiser is to help Latanya and her kids to find a safe and stable home. She is currently working at DoorDash to keep afloat, and these funds will be deeply appreciated. Thank you so much. That's the message. Now, Nicole, I have very strong and likely unpopular opinions about this, right? So I'm going to keep them to myself until I hear what you think. Tell me how you feel about this situation.
So I went and tried to research this as well. And let me start with the $2,300 for 3 weeks. That's around $100 and some dollars, $105 a day, right, for 3 weeks. That's the running cost of a rental car right now. Okay, so that is normal. Now, if she were to buy a car for $2,300 a month, she could go buy a Bentley. She could buy a Bentley. I drive a really nice fast car, and my car note would not be $2,300 a month. That is a lot. That's a lot of car note, which makes me think that she is someone that's used to living a certain lifestyle. So she is estranged from Dr. Dre and has been for 18 years. So now that the money has stopped, now you have something to say. Now you say, I just want to see my dad and I want him to see his grandkids. But it wasn't that important. For 18 years, you did your thing and you did your own thing and you got a monthly allowance. I'm coming back to the monthly allowance. I'm coming back to that. Okay. Mm-hmm. So that's the first thing I thought about. Then the second thing I thought about is, okay, she's estranged from him, but where's her mom and her mom's side of the family? Why is she not living with her mother? So you have a side of the family that doesn't want to support you either, because I don't know if her mom is alive or not. I didn't do any research on her mom, but I did think her mom has to have some other family. Okay. So you're not living with your mom. In one interview, it said that you and your sister tried to come over Dr. Dre's house. I'm assuming the sister's not his. Okay.
Hold on. Let me interject right there. There are 2 other sisters. So she does have siblings, plural.
Okay. But my thing is, why are you not living with one of them?
That's the question.
You have siblings, plural. Why are you living in your car? If Stacey were living in her car, I would say, go grab a room upstairs. I would not have my sister living in her car. I would have any of my family members living in the car. They would be in here and I would have to say, listen, we have to have a conversation about how long you're going to be here, what you're going to be paying, how long it's going to be until you have to find a job. We'd have to have those type of talks, but I would not have anybody living in their car. So where is that side of the family? And then the last is you have 4 kids. Are they the same baby daddy? Or are they different baby daddies? Are they not paying any child support? Why are these people not supporting you? Why is it all on Dr. Dre? And my thing is, I'm looking around like, should I have been getting an allowance? I mean, we're 38. Okay? Right? We're 30. Nobody gave us an allowance, so I don't feel sorry for her at all. You're a grown woman who did what you wanted to do. You got 4 kids. I don't know if you're married or not. I assume that you're not if you're living in your car and not with your husband, and your kids are with family. Why are you not with family? So that makes me think that you've done something to mess up the relationship with all of your family to the point where they don't care if you're sleeping in your car or not. The only thing they care about are your kids. I think you have had it. You had it good. You got an allowance. Why did you not stack your coins and save, invest in something, start a business, buy a house, buy a car, do something with the 18 years of money that you've been afforded? Even if it was just enough to cover your rent. Girl, when somebody would come in here and pay my mortgage, I would be saving all the money I made. So you should have worked, allowed him to, if it's just your rent, but you said rent and allowance, girl.
Yep.
So you should have saved that, paid your bills, and the money you made, you should have then stacked so you can buy your own house and your own car. After a certain time, it is not up to the parents to make sure that you're good. Nobody feels sorry for you, and that's why you've only raised $3,000 in the GoFundMe. I will not be dropping my coins in the GoFundMe because there are some people that make a living off of being a DoorDash driver or an Amazon Prime driver. And there was one article I saw that she, in December 2020, that she worked for FedEx. People make a living doing that. Okay?
Absolutely.
And you have to put your big girl draws on at some point in your life and decide, one, is LA too expensive for me to live in? Maybe I should move out further into the suburbs or move to a different state and start over somewhere I can afford to work as a DoorDash driver and pay my own bills and pay my own rent. You're not, well, it's me. You're not disabled. You are able-bodied and you have 4 kids. You sat down and laid down and had them 4 kids.
Hello.
So you have to take responsibility for those 4 kids. It is not Dr. Dre's it's not his responsibility to take care of you, a 38-year-old woman, and your 4 kids. Tax your baby daddies. Don't tax your dad. He's been taxed for 38 years. Girl, grow up.
I could not agree with you more. And I thought that my opinion was going to be unpopular. But look, I guess both of our opinions are going to be unpopular. Here's my thing.
I don't think that that's unpopular. I think that anybody that's 38, the people that are in their 20s may think that, but people that are in their 30s that are living and having to manage their household and take care of their children, that is not the responsibility of your daddy. The baby daddy's responsibility and your responsibility is to make sure those children are fed and housed and clothed. It's not the grandparents' job. Mm-hmm. At this point in our life, we are taking care of our parents.
Thank you. And that's what I kept thinking to myself. But at 38, we're knocking on 40, y'all. At 38, what you should be doing is focusing on how you are going to leave something for your kids, not how your parents are going to give you stuff. It's baffling to me. Now, I get it. There are those out here that are preaching, our generation doesn't have as many opportunities as the generation before us. I get that. I'm very well aware of that. I am not going to pretend like I have on blinders and we have the same access to jobs and opportunities that our parents had, because it's not the case.
This is Dr. Dre's daughter.
But that's my point. That is exactly my point.
I mean, think about it. If she said, at one point he had agreed to pay for college tuition, but he didn't do that. Where were you enrolled?
Thank you.
Where were you enrolled? Okay. Because what she should have been doing, instead of just holding her hand out, is saying, hey, I am developing this business. Can you invest in this business? Mm-hmm. Can you give me a job? Can you teach me a trade? Can I learn from you? Instead of having money and spending money.
Or can I help you?
That is a better conversation.
Let's talk about this. Her dad is a businessman. He obviously employs people. He got a whole team. What I would have been doing is, hey, well, since this is the family business, so my question is, why for 38 years were you not able to parlay this into some sort of consistent, secure income? I mean, if you wanted to open up like a Popeyes, you could have done that. Like, I am sure that Dr. Dre would have rather, and you all, if you know Dr. Dre, call me and say that I'm wrong. I'm sure that he would have much rather invested into something like a franchise that would have continued to feed you so that you weren't constantly feeding out of his pockets back when, than to keep paying your rent and giving you a little money here and there for your allowance. I mean, really, at 38, why are we out here getting an allowance? If you're not getting an allowance from your spouse, you sure as hell shouldn't be getting an allowance from your daddy and your mama. Let's be honest about the situation.
Well, to be fair, we can't say for 38 years she was mooching. Let's say 18, because before that, you were a child. I get it.
You're right.
And when you are a child, you behave as a child. But for 20 years, from the time you were 18 to now, you're grown. And so you should have been thinking about your own future. Even if it took you a little while and you're a late bloomer, at least 25 and up, you should have, 13 years, you should have been trying to get yourself together and thinking, hey, what am I going to do if this man, my dad, dies suddenly? Mm-hmm. What am I going to do if he cuts me off suddenly? What am I going to do to secure my kids' future? What am I going to do? You should be thinking about that. You have 4 kids. Girl, you have 4 kids. Get it together.
You big grown when you have 4 kids. Let's be honest. You big grown when you got 1 kid. You're really super grown when you got 4. And then my question is, if you were not self-sustaining, I could see maybe the first couple kids. But why have 4? And I'm back with you with where are the fathers of these kids? Make these men that you had these kids with accountable for their responsibility. Because it's not just your responsibility. When you laid down and had these kids, both of you all made the children. Both of you all need to be responsible for the kids. And get off this GoFundMe because we're not donating.
All right, Janine, let's talk through some scenarios, why don't we? Since we're talking about kids.
Let's do it.
All right. My first letter says, Nicole and Janine, my stepson, Jason, is 24 years old and asked my husband to move in with us to help him out financially. He needs help because he and his girlfriend are expecting a baby and he wants to move them in as well. Right now, he has an apartment and he works part-time gigs as a musician. His girlfriend has her own place, but decided not to renew her lease because she wants to work less after the baby arrives. I understand that they need help, but I do not want a whole little family moving in with us. Jason didn't ask his mom because she'll have, quote, too many restrictions, and he doesn't have time for that. Am I wrong for not wanting them to move in? My husband seems to think it's okay and that I'm being a bit unreasonable. Ladies, please weigh in.
How old is he again?
24.
Okay. So we going to give him a little bit of a pass because he's 24, but we going to take that pass right back away because he's a man. I'm just going to say it. And y'all can email us, call us. If you have our number, text us, whatever you want to do, send a courier pigeon. You can say, oh, it's a double standard. We don't like the double standard. Hey, we got it. We don't like the double standard either, but it is what it is. As a man, it's very different. As a woman, you can stay at home, have 2, 3, 4, 5 babies, and your parents will help you and take care of you, right? Because don't nobody want to see, we're back to this women and children theme, right? Like back here. Nobody wants to see a woman or a child out on the street, right? For a man, though, we have a couple questions that we need to ask. So I get it. Let me give him the benefit of the doubt because he is being responsible to think this through beforehand, right? Before the baby gets here, he's like, we want to save some money. I think that he has the right thought process, but I think it's being executed in the wrong manner. No, I don't think that you're wrong for not wanting him to move in. I think that it's going to happen, whether you like it or not, but I don't think that you're wrong. So what I would suggest is that maybe you put a plan in place before he moves in. This is when you can move in. This is how long you can stay. Lay it all out so that they have a very realistic idea of how long this setup is going to last. Because if not, you're just going to have a 2-family household, my dear. Give him some tools, help him out so he can stack up his little coins and flourish as a man of his own house. But yeah, I say a year. A year should be enough time, I think. What do you think, Nicole?
I say hell no.
So don't help him at all?
No, he's 24. He's a grown man. He has a girlfriend who's having a baby, right? So True. She works. She has her own place, but she doesn't want to go back to work because she wants to stay home with the baby. Everybody doesn't have the liberty of staying home full time having a baby. Sometimes you have got to have a 2-parent household to make things work. What they should do is they should get an apartment and move in together. So she should move into his apartment and he should get an actual job on top of his gigs. Sometimes you got to grow up, put your big boy drawers on, and get you another job to take care of your kids. It is not the responsibility of your parents to take care of your children. You are out of the house. I understand that you're a musician and you want to focus on that full time, but sometimes you got to go get a job at DoorDash or you got to go get a job as a stock person to make ends meet. Your girlfriend wants to stay home with the baby. I'm sorry. After 6 weeks, you're going to have to go back to work. You need to have a come to Jesus with them and say, the only people that can stay home with babies full time are people that have their mans that are taking care of them. If your man is not taking care of you, then you cannot stay at home full time. I'm sorry. It's not my responsibility to make sure that my kid can have a stay-at-home wife. You're not even married. You want to be a stay-at-home wife. No.
Well, I get
That's not my
that.
responsibility.
But I took it as he would be in between gigs, right? So it's not like he's not
It doesn't matter. He can go
working,
get a job. He can go get another job. The baby's not here. Go get you another job.
Well, that's true. That's a good point.
Go get you another job. Because for me, I'd rather, if you don't have the money and y'all are budgeting together, then I would rather give you money to help you pay your bills temporarily than to have you move into my house and then I'm a crutch, right? I got to wake up and hear a screaming baby because the baby's going to be up every 3 hours. You're probably going to need help with the baby because your mama's not there and you're going to be in my house. So now I become instant babysitter, instant help. You're going to have bottles and all kind of stuff in my kitchen. Toys going to be everywhere as the months roll by. I'm not having somebody with a newborn in my house for a year that's able-bodied and able to work. No, that is enabling. I'm not going to work to support you staying at home with your child. You should have thought about that before you had sex with my gig hopping stepson who can't provide for you. I'm sorry, I'm not doing it. And right now, he is financially stable enough to support himself because he has his own place. He's just not financial enough to support himself and basically a wife and a child. Mm-hmm. So he needs to have a come to Jesus with her and say, we can't move in with my parents. So what we need to do is you need to work after 6 weeks and we need to figure out who's going to keep this child. And if you can't make ends meet, you need to apply for some assistance. Well, she can apply for assistance to help. But if they combine their households together, they should be able to make it work.
Here's my other question. They're not married, so why she don't go stay with her parents and he come stay with y'all and then
because they're trying to build a little family together. They're trying to build a little family together. They ain't trying
hard enough to build a family together if he ain't putting a ring on it. So let's go back and he can come stay with y'all by himself so he can get himself on his feet and save up a little bit of money, right?
He can't come stay with me. He can't come stay with me.
No, I'll let him come stay with me.
You can't move back in. I'm sorry. You can't move back in just because you're having a baby. You need to put your big girl drawers on and you need to get a job. You need to continue to work now. He needs to get a job that has consistent pay. He can keep doing the side gigs, but you got to do something that has consistent pay. You know, people don't want to do things that have consistent pay because it's, I don't want to work here. I don't want to do that kind of job. They think that those, particular type of jobs are, labor jobs are beneath them. Like they can't go get a job at Target or Walmart because they don't want anybody to see them working at there. You better do what you got to do. Everybody doesn't have the privilege of moving back in with their parents. They have to figure it out. Mm-hmm. So I think that it would literally be enabling him not to go find a real job, not to go find a consistent job if he ends up moving back in with his parents.
Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm trying to be too nice.
24? 24,
I think I would.
You got two options after high school. You got to either work.
He's working.
Or you have to go. You got to work a job or you have to go to college.
Okay.
One of the two things. Okay. How long that is? Because now you're talking 6 years after age 18. Mm-hmm. So if you've worked, you can stay with me if you're working.
Okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
But he's moved out. He thought he was grown. He's moved out. Mm-hmm. And he's working these gigs to support himself. You're not moving back in with me because you've gotten somebody knocked up.
That's
absolutely not.
That's a point.
Mm-mm. Once you move out because you think that you're grown, go ahead and stay out. Mm-hmm. This is not, he's 18. He wants to work and he wants to save some money. I'll let you work and save some money. Mm-hmm. But once you say, I'm independent, I'm moving out, then those choices are yours. You grown now. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You want to come back so I can support you and a baby and a girl? No. This girl can't stay at home. She got to go back to work.
Okay. I get it.
You can't stay at home because kids are expensive. Right. And you want me to take care of your child so you can stay at home? Absolutely not.
Yeah, I think that part is crazy, but I'm just saying I would help. I feel like I would help in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I feel like on the back end, let me know. If you're short on the rent, let me know. Okay. If you're moving in together and she goes back to work afterwards and you have a gig and you understand that you may have to get another part-time job and you are still short with your combined incomes, then let's talk about it. But we're not about to start this situation off with my girlfriend wants to stay at home and take care of the child. And I'm not making ends meet because I'm doing gigs.
Mm-hmm.
Can we move in with you so that I can stack my money with gigs and then do what? Eventually, you will have to do something because these gigs are still going to be paying the same amount. Mm-hmm. And if she doesn't work, then what? Are you staying with me just for 12 weeks because she doesn't want to work for 12 weeks? Are you staying with me for 6 months because are you only staying with me while she's not working? Like, what is the end? Because right now it sounds like she wants to stay at home with the child and I can't afford that. I can only afford me. So because I can only afford me, can I come stay with you? No, the solution is not to come stay with me. The solution is for you to get a job, another job. And the solution is also for her to take maternity leave like the rest of us do, 6 to 8 weeks, and go back to work. That is the solution. And if you need help because she's not getting paid because she hadn't been at her job long enough to cover her maternity leave, I can help you for those 2 months.
Okay.
Until she goes back to work. But I'm not letting you move in with me because it's not an option for her not to go back to work if you can't afford to support her on your own.
That's fair.
Not an option.
That is fair. That is fair. So you'll help. You just don't want them in your house.
They're not coming in my house. I'll help you for the 2 months, but you need to go back to work after that.
That's fair. Here's the letter that I chose, right? So it's kind of similar. It says, "Hi, ladies. I hope that you do an episode on parents so that you can read this letter. I am a 37-year-old artist that lives in New York City. I love what I do, and I would never even imagine doing anything else. So let me get to why I'm writing. My parents recently cut me off. I mean, they didn't literally cut me off completely. They just decided that they would no longer help me with my rent. I feel like they're doing this out of spite because they've been pressing me to move out of the city and move closer to them in Saddle River, New Jersey. I feel like they wouldn't have cut me off if I had moved like they asked. I don't understand why this is such a big deal. It's not like they can't afford it. They're both very successful attorneys, and I'm the only child. I feel like my parents should continue to help me so that I can continue to pursue my dreams without the added stress of finances. Friends, what should I do? Talisha."
Talisha, it's time for you to put your big girl draws on. 37-year-old artist, which means that you have been trying to do this for a long time. And unless you're doing this like every single day, during the day, you can find time to also get another job. It is not your parents' responsibility to pay your bills for the rest of your life. Because what happens when you're 40 and you're a starving artist, or 45 or 50 and a starving artist? Are your parents supposed to still pay your bills? Your parents are supposed to be making sure their retirement is intact. They're not going to be working forever. And obviously you can't afford to take care of them when they're older. So stop taking money away from them because eventually you say they can afford it, but you don't understand. Once you get to a certain age and you want to retire, that's all the money you have to live the rest of your life. Okay. And if your parents live to 100 and they retire at 60 or 65, well, they only had that 35, 40 years they have to live off of that income that they've made. So stop thinking that you're entitled to your parents taking care of you. There are a lot of artists out there who do not depend on their family members to take care of them. And honestly, if they are taking care of you, then you sort of kind of have to do what they say, right? If they're paying the bills and they don't want to pay your high bills and they want to pay cheaper bills, then guess what? You have to go where they tell you to go. If you want to do what you want to do, then you pay for what you want to do. So, you got two choices. You move back home or closer to home. And if they've agreed to pay for that, then they'll pay for it. But if you want to do what you want to do on your own terms, then girl, you got to get another job and you got to pay for yourself. And you can't get mad when your parents cut you off because you're not following their request. You're not a child anymore. You can't keep throwing temper tantrums. It's time for you to buck up and do what you need to do to support yourself. I know that was harsh, but somebody needed to give it to you harsh because apparently you've been out here thinking that is your parents' responsibility to take care of you when it's not.
It really is not. And girl, you asked us, Talisha, what should you do, right? Girl, you know what you should do? You should get you a job. Like Nicole said, Go find you a job. Go find you a job that sustains your lifestyle while you continue to pursue your passion. See, where we get it screwed up in our generation is, and let me be clear, Nicole and I are millennials. We're at the upper end of millennials, but we are still millennials, right? Where we get this screwed up is we think that we have to do something that we're passionate about, right? Which you should. And the reason why most of us think that is because we watched our parents have these jobs they really didn't like, but it paid the bills, right? It paid the bills. So they went to these jobs day in and day out, 9 to 5, sometimes even longer hours, because they needed to pay the bills. They weren't passionate about the job. They probably couldn't have cared less about the job. The only thing they cared about that job was making sure that they got it done so that they could get that check at the end of the week, right? We saw that. We didn't want to live like that as a generation. Now I'm generalizing, but you all get my point. We didn't want to live like that. So then we went and we were like, you know what? We're going to do what we're passionate about. But where we got screwed up was we're pursuing our passion, but our passion ain't paying the bills. So here's the thing. What you need to do, and I get it. I'm not an artist, but I am a creative, right? Sometimes what you want to do cannot sustain your lifestyle. So what you have to do is take on one of those jobs that you're not so passionate about, but it pays the bills. So you get that check at the end of the week so that you can continue to pursue your passion. Now, see, here's the thing about when you ask people to help you with stuff, right? When you ask people to help you specifically financially, you know what you do? You open yourself up to them being in your business and trying to tell you what it is that you can and can't do. And in your case, where you can and can't live, but you can't say anything because it's their money. It's their money. When you pay your own way, you can do as you please. But when you are dependent on somebody else, you got to abide by their rules. Just find you a good old job that's going to pay these bills while you can continue to pursue your art. Welcome to adulthood. I get it. It's ghetto. This is not what we expected. We don't want it. 0 out of 10. I'm not about to tell you that adulthood is fun. That's not what it is. But it is what it is. And you're now an adult. And you have to live in adulthood. And adulthood means that you have to do some things that you don't want to do so that you can sustain the lifestyle as you would have it to be. That's just is what it is.
They gonna hate us with this episode. Ooh, they gonna hate us.
They can hate us. But guess what, Nicole? We ain't said no lies anywhere in this episode, did we?
We really did not.
Okay.
All right, Johnny. So what did you learn new this week?
So I learned that according to a Forbes study, 59% of parents provide support for their adult children. And by adult children, that means between the ages of 18 and 39. So 59% of parents provide for their adult children, and 37% of them say that it's because they struggled and they don't want to see their kids struggle. Now, some of the things that they provide support for is 50% of them provide support for housing, 48% provide for living expenses, 41%ish provide for transportation. Some of them provide for spending money, but only 7%. And I found this very interesting. Now, let's go back to the 50% provide support for housing, right? But only 7% are providing a down payment for a home. Crazy, right? We just got to do better with these finances situation.
We do.
Generational finances, like maybe we got to revisit that. But it's interesting to me, 50%. So you throwing your money away to somebody else for rent, essentially. But only 7% said that they were providing for a down payment for a home.
Enabling these children. And it's probably because people don't have the credit scores and they are not responsible enough to own houses yet. And so that's why they're not asking their parents for down payments. And the parents are like, well, I'm not buying a house for them. And I get that too. But that means that we need to make our children or encourage our children, because you can't really make them, to be more financially responsible with their money so that they are buying over renting.
What did you learn new this week, Nicole?
So I too learned about basically adults being children, and the states with the highest percent of young adults living with their parents are New Jersey, like our friend of the podcast that wrote in. The number 2 state is Florida, and number 3 is California. And when you look at the 2020 data, according to the U.S. Census Bureau, who's living with their parents in those states between the ages of 18 and 29-year-olds, 43% live with their parents in 2020. 43%. And then if you looked at the number that lived in a shared household, meaning they were roommates or whatever, 38.4%, 25 to 34-year-olds.
I mean, I think that we're not naive to the fact that people are out here struggling. That's not what we're saying. We're just saying be smart about the help that you're receiving so that you can move on and not depend on your parents forever. Adulting, it sucks. We get it. But, it is what it is. You got to do it at some point.
I like that, Janine. And that brings me to the motivational moment for the week. And it's by Iyanla Vanzant. Yes. I love Iyanla. Fix My Life. And it says, it's time for you to move, realizing that the thing you are seeking is also seeking you. So step out on faith and grab what you want. Whatever you want will find you. Until we meet again.
Pray, work, slay.
And show off your melanated excellence. Bye.
Oh, That's Deep, Black Women Conversations is produced by Nicole Lee Plenty and Janine Brunson Johnson. Executive producer, Ken Johnson. Get the Oh, That's Deep, Black Women Conversation podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, or where you get your podcasts. Please subscribe and rate us. You can follow Oh That's Deep Black Women Conversations on IG at Oh That's Deep BWC. Oh That's Deep Black Women Conversations is a Mean Old Lion Media production.